Looks like another Faymonville approach game. DrDfens versus darkerdayzud. Paratrooper faceplate. And chain link thing. Don't think I've seen that one. Okay, we've got DrDfens down in the south base. And we are seeing a Volksgrenadier start and a Rifleman start once again. Pretty standard stuff. And they are both going for the points towards the center of the map.
Rifle squad ready for action.
Second rifle squad coming. And it looks like we're going to see some scouting with the supply half-track.
Ready for action.
Or not. Parking in the road. Maybe he's planning on setting up a reinforced point right here. And both teams going straight for their fuels. And then this Volksgrenadier squad moving towards the victory point, it looks like. Interesting. Not wasting any time on capturing that.
Volksgrenadier ready for action.
Second squad of Volksgrenadiers out. Probably going to see a third squad of rifles. Rear echelon troops going around to back cap. Riflemen coming forward. Both teams being very conservative. Nothing too aggressive yet. And they've both skipped past this point. Personally, I would recommend capturing all of the points very near to your base as quickly as you can, because that extra resource income makes a big difference. Especially if you're going to do some sort of light vehicle rush.
This lousy patch of dirt is ours.
If you're going to be more infantry heavy, then you may want to stay more grouped and more aggressive and just try and win the initial engagements. But usually, taking up as quickly as you can pays off. These Volksgrenadiers are just standing here, just defending. Oh, good first engagement by DrDfens. He should charge, though. He doesn't want to let them stay in green cover. Although it's not very good green cover. They are sort of hopped out of it. Now they're yellow cover. Still, he's in no cover. He would benefit from charging, but I guess he wants to capture the point. Meanwhile, another engagement down here. He's got these Volksgrenadiers badly outnumbered. Really good positioning by DrDfens in these first opening engagements. darkerdayzud is not going to be able to win either of those. He's got to retreat. Interesting to see this Rifleman squad retreat. He definitely could have used them to help in this second engagement. Volksgrenadiers taking up position in the house. Always a good idea. Americans really struggle against units in houses. They have no non-commander specific ways of getting you out of a house. Pretty much just have to brute force you out with this bunch of riflemen. So this is a very ideal situation for darkerdayzud. Good flank by these Stern Pioneers, but he's going to take a lot of damage. He's still managed to convince that Rifleman squad to retreat. Oh, he probably shouldn't have retreated that way. He probably should have walked in and hopped this fence before retreating. He might lose that squad. Yep, there it goes. Definitely should have hopped this fence before hitting retreat there. Don't forget that this fence is not, there's no holes in it, so you'll never automatically path through it. You have to go over it manually.
MG-34 heavy machine guns are now available.
So that's definitely a win for DrDfens. Now that he's taken out a Stern Pioneer squad, he's got 4 riflemen. Now he's making an ambulance. I don't think he's made any technology decisions yet. Nope, no lieutenant cooking yet. Charging with the riflemen, but oh, we see Fallschirmjäger doctrine. He goes with the MG-34, and they're still in the arc. They are in green cover, though, so no suppression. Still, they're getting shot by this Volksgrenadier squad, and he chooses to retreat. Looks like he's going to move this MG up to chase them off. Interesting, nobody holds this point. Very bloody fight for this point. Nobody holds it yet. These rear echelon troops are doing a good job of harassing, taking points all the way across the top. giving the U.S. pretty good map control, although the Oberkommando still has the southern fuel and munitions, so they still have pretty good resource income despite not having quite as much control of the standard territory points. And you can see that the United States player actually has double the munitions and fuel income of the Oberkommando between his better map control and the Oberkommando standard 30-ish% resource penalty that they have.
Heavy fortification now available. The Americans have cut our supply line. Enemy movement! On the flank! The enemy has cut our supply chain.
DrDfens is investing very heavily in defending this central point.
Flanking attack!
But it seems to be paying off as DrDfens is sort of just walking into this MG. Oh, he's packed up. I'm not sure he should have done that. It looks like this other MG had the situation covered. He needs to turn that back around. Needs to protect the flank of this machine gun too. Pretty good rifleman spread. Grenadiers are getting... Oh! And he manages to prevent that flank with good MG micro. It's good for him there. These riflemen did a lot of damage to those Volksgrenadiers though, and it looks like this rifleman squad broke off from the fight and is capturing the bottom, so that is very problematic for the Oberkommando. He definitely needs to respond to that. We see that he went with the mechanized regiment headquarters, and I'm thinking he's probably going to want a flak half-track, or perhaps a Puma to prevent an early light vehicle from his opponent. His opponent is going with a lieutenant, so we'll probably see the AA half-track from him, or maybe some MGs, or maybe even a utility car, but it's a bit late for a utility car. He's actually got quite a lot of fuel. Utility car wouldn't be as useful as this far into the game. So getting that, certainly not a mistake, but not as useful as it would have been if he'd gotten it much earlier. But instead he went for the ambulance and 4th Rifleman Squad. Good charge by these riflemen. Manages to get a lot of damage on those Volksgrenadiers. He could hop in this building if he wanted to avoid that machine gun fire, but he's already getting cut down. He's going to have to get out of there. Should be able to retreat. Pretty clean retreat path. Nice flank on the MG. That's not going to be able to set up in time. Very nice flank. It should just retreat. Get it out of there. Just retreat.
Bust out the metal, boys! Promotion just taking lead over here!
Those Volksgrenadiers should have gotten in this house. Now they've been charged. Oh, and it looks like we do see a Puma. So that's sort of a preemptive move by the Oberkommando, assuming that his opponent's going to get some kind of light vehicle. If we check, doesn't look like anything's cooking yet.
Field promotion!
Oh, he actually is going straight for a captain. Looks like he's going to try and use some sort of infantry-based anti-vehicle solution. Captain has pretty good bazookas. Lieutenant coming up to the top to capture. Chases out some Volksgrenadiers. Gonna have no problem capturing that. Manages to get a rifle grenade off on this Puma, so has a damaged engine, but just standing there taking fire is not doing him any good, so he gets out of there. You should always be careful about rifle grenading a Puma. They can repair pretty much for free just by driving right back to their base, so if you're not going to get anything out of it, then just save your munitions. And don't bother sitting there shooting at it either if that's not going to accomplish anything. Just retreat. And come back when you have a proper solution.
You've got a captain hitting the field.
And that solution being your captain in this case. Just hugging this wall, making good use of the green cover to approach this MG. Meanwhile, great flank coming across the field here. Looks like that one's focusing on the one in green cover. He probably could have manually switched to, and he does, but it's too late. That MG might not even make it away. Running it out in the red cover, and it's taken down. Those Volksgrenadiers could recruit it though. He chooses not to do that though, he's just charging in. Another rifle grenade going out. I expect the captain should be here in the fight soon. Oh, good grenade by those Volksgrenadiers. Really brutal fight for the middle here. He needs to pay attention to his lieutenant though. Still not capturing. Oberkommando could definitely send a squad down to retake this too. Looks like some Fallschirmjäger coming out of the building. Oh, and he wasn't watching that Volksgrenadier squad, and it goes down. Captain finally arrives to put some damage on that Puma. Another MG. Oh, that Puma needs to get out of there. Alright, there it goes. Should be able to make it out. Grenade going for the captain. And just retreats. So he does save the Puma. Should definitely get one of those Volksgrenadier squads back on that MG. This lieutenant also definitely needs to keep capturing the map. He's just sitting there.
Reinforcements in. Welcome to the death factory, boys. Stick with me.
Pretty good unit preservation by the United States. All 4 rifleman squads still alive, so that's good, Lieutenant. And even every echelon squad, everything's still alive. I don't think he's lost a full unit yet. Meanwhile, this guy, DrDfens, has lost his Sturmpio squad. He's lost 1 Volksgrenadier squad. Dangerously close to losing that Puma, but didn't quite. He lost that MG, but it looks like he's recruited, so that's good. So 2.5 full units lost by the Overcommando. No units lost by DrDfens yet. We'll see if he can change that situation. It's looking like the Puma may have been a bad choice considering his opponent did not get any light vehicles. He instead went with pure infantry, lieutenant straight into captain for a lower tech army. Oh, but the lieutenant gets taken down by those Fallschirmjäger while he's busy with a charge here on the bottom, and they're just getting pinned, making no progress, no penetration. These guys are getting torn up. Those Volksgrenadiers now have a lieutenant's light machine gun. Yikes, that was definitely a very bad series of charges for the U.S. forces there. AT gun moving up, but it's getting flanked by these Fallschirmjäger and light machine gun wielding Grenadiers. So that's going to get chased off. And these 2 machine guns have pretty good coverage across the road and also this field, so nothing's able to get through there. So Lieutenant lost, lots of riflemen down. And it looks like he's going to lose this AT gun too. And if he's not careful, that ambulance might go down. Although, it looks like he's overextending a little bit here. He needs to be careful. Oh, grenade going out. Oh, and full rifleman squad down. That is going to hurt. Oh, no. These riflemen are getting destroyed by those Fallschirmjäger. And this MG moving up, being very aggressive. He should definitely be careful with this ambulance. I'm surprised that he hasn't fired at this ambulance at all. He's getting bullied by these Fallschirmjäger. He should definitely consider getting some sort of bars or grenades, or an MG even would actually really help. He has a lieutenant, he could get an MG. He's getting pinned in his base. He is bleeding a lot of manpower from this engagement. These machine guns have been used really effectively to keep him suppressed during all of these fights. He is really struggling to get a flank going, especially with his units. Losing full squads makes it really hard to flank. You need to... The more squads you lose, the more you find you need to group up just to get any penetration anywhere. Sending one lone squad out may not work for you. He manages to come up the road though, gets good use of this green cover. He's probably going to be able to... Grenade going out right there, perfect. Oh, not quite perfect. I thought that was going to get both for sure. Good flank on the second MG, it rotates to shoot at them. Might have been a mistake though, wearing red cover. Only gets 2 of the 3, and then gets suppressed. Unfortunately, neither of those grenades quite gives him the opportunity to steal an MG. He really needs to get an MG stolen or a full squad taken out. He really needs something like that to happen, or he's gonna really struggle to come back. He also needs to move this AT gun up. He could easily be shooting across this corridor. If he had that perfectly positioned right now, he could kill this half track. He really needs to move that AT gun up. There's no way that he should be letting this thing set up. Oh man, he needs to move that up so badly. He's running out of time. That thing's gonna be done. If he lets that thing finish, he's gonna... It's a really powerful gun. Most recent patches made that gun really strong. And finally, the AT gun is moving up, so that's good. He's still got some time. He could take it out before it completes. Shooting at it with his captain. He's getting grenaded by those Pulse Grenadiers, though. Ooh, that hurts. Alright, well played by the United States player. Takes out that truck before it can really cause him trouble. And pretty much both players have completely abandoned the idea of capturing the map. Neither one of them is going for territory at all. They are both dedicating their entire armies to fighting this brutal battle in the middle. Oberkommando still hasn't retaken this cut-off munitions point. United States has done nothing to harass the top. They're both just focusing entirely on the middle here. It looks like the United States is finally managing to penetrate a little bit, though. Oh, good grenade right there. The AT gun shot caused them to duck down. They messed with their pathing a little bit, right into that grenade. Here comes another force, though. More Fallschirmjäger. He's really going to struggle against these Fallschirmjäger. They're going to inflict a lot of damage on him if he doesn't get some bars, some sort of proper anti-infantry solution at medium to long range, which grenades are not. Grenades are more of a short-range solution against units that are in cover and closely clumped, particularly MGs. Pretty okay grenade, but it's a lot of munitions for not that great benefit. 2 grenades is the same price as 1 bar, and you can get a lot more benefit out of a bar than out of 2 grenades, typically. That grenade was just pointless. He's right by his base, he can reinforce. Smoke grenade, nice. Always good to see that. Smoke in Company of Heroes historically has always been underused. It's good to see that get used. Looks like he's going to charge under the cover of the smoke. The MG was intelligent to back up a little bit. He's got a pretty decent spread, though. He's clumping up a little bit there, though. And then he retreats. The wrong squad, I think, by accident over here. The captain comes up to the Puma. Looks like he's not paying attention. Oh, and the AT gun snipes it from way back there. Wow, that's amazing that it was able to hit it. Maybe I used take aim. I'm not sure. I've never seen anybody use this ability, but it'd be good to see somebody take advantage of that, especially in this situation, but I think it was just on the edge of it, so I think it just barely was able to hit it.
Where's that coming from? That's it!
And again, both teams need to consider dedicating 1 squad to going and capturing a map. The US player could make an extra squad of rear echelon or use his they're just standing here. Repairing the ambulance, I guess? No, they're just standing there. He could definitely be using those to harass the top. Or even harass this bottom area over here. There's plenty of room to maneuver around the bottom. He doesn't have to be dedicating every single unit to the fight. Neither does the Oberkommando player, who should definitely have retaken this munitions point by now. The fact that he doesn't have a munitions point is definitely hurting his munitions. As you can see, he's only got 45 munitions right now. Oh, perfect grenade on those Pulse Grenadiers. Wow. Looks like he's not too happy about that. Interesting, it looks like he made a flak half-track and drove it over here. Not sure why.
Just arrived.
And from the United States player, we do see Armor Company, and he's made a Stuart. Pretty weird to see light vehicles hitting the field this late in the game. Both of them could be getting tanks right now, I would think. Oh, that flak half-track might have just made a mistake right there. Oh, it looks like he didn't notice it, though. I don't think he even saw that thing. He's too busy focusing on this fight over here in the middle. Yeah, he definitely should have made a tank way earlier. His opponent has no anti-tank whatsoever now that that Puma's dead.
300 points remaining.
the superior race, the race of Germans. It's true, it's not easy. It's not easy to be superior. He's got a point. Overcommando is actually, I find Overcommando very difficult, especially against Soviets. Against Americans too, though. Your units are very specialized. But your doctrine choice can make your army much more versatile, especially Fallschirmjäger, I think, is the easiest of the commanders. Fallschirmjäger give you really good general infantry, and you also get machine guns, so... Looks like both sides are finally spreading out a little bit. Worrying about territory a little more, not fighting in the middle. And now we see a bulldozer Sherman in addition to the Stuart, so wow. He's definitely going to need to get some anti-tank on the field, and probably in the form of a Panther, not necessarily a Raketenwerfer or anything like that. He's going to need a heavier anti-tank solution. Setting up some defenses back in the middle. He's going to try and retake this victory point. He's got a lot of veterancy on this Volksgrenadier squad. Some veterancy on his machine guns too, so they're going to be a little more durable. The entire United States infantry force is maxed out on veterancy, though. Imagine how powerful they would be if he would just put some bars on these guys. Really needs to give them some bars, so that they'll be able to scale a little better in this late game.
German dozers have reached the front line.
No anti-tank to be found in the middle. Ooh, that building won't last long if it takes any more hits like that. He damages the engine, but... Oh, actually, probably a pretty good move with the Raketenwerfer moving up. It's probably going to be able to get a couple of good shots off with the damaged engine. Slowly lurching out. Yep, 2 shots. Won't be able to get a third. Still might have been a waste, though. The crew can repair an engine using their repair critical ability, and it's only 10 munitions. And then it'll be right back in the fight. Or he can just repair it to full. Although taking it out of the battlefield for that long may cause him to struggle to hold territory. Nothing catches your enemy off guard like repairing your engine and then immediately charging back in without having full health. Most enemies will expect you to stay out of the fight for a long time, repairing your tank back to full health. Grenade going for the MG, causing it to be unable to fire for a while, but he's just standing here. No cover. Can't possibly beat this larger force, but he does. We do see his rear echelon troops finally going around to harass the top. Second Raketenwerfer coming out. Overcommando definitely needs to consider... Oh! That was a good shot from that bulldozer Sherman. Took out a full squad of Fallschirmjäger. Overcommando definitely needs to harass the map a little more, and this Stuart is not being used at all. It's completely idle. Guarding this point, I guess. He needs to get that thing back in the fight. Rear echelon troops completely annihilated. He is extremely susceptible to being flanked right here. The Stuart could come down through here and just wreak havoc. If he repaired this thing's engine too. Could spell disaster. United States player doesn't have a major, so he can't get standard tanks. Maybe that's why he went armor company, knowing that since he went with lieutenant and captain, he wouldn't want to make the additional 90 fuel investment into the major and would just get the doctrinal tanks instead. But the doctrinal tanks have a higher fuel price tag. 180 fuel on the bulldozer, or 140 fuel on the bulldozer Sherman. The M10's only 80 fuel, but it's not that great in my opinion. You really need to get at least 2 of them if you're taking on anything bigger than light vehicles. Looks like US player's doing a good job of harassing the map, though. He's now moving around towards the bottom. He's keeping these things dangerously grouped, but oh, that Stuart needs to get out of there. And now it's too late. It's dead. Not the greatest use of that Stuart. It didn't really see very much combat, and then it just died sitting in front of 2 Raketenwerfers. Giving that one double vet. for its 1 kill. Not good. And the American player definitely should have considered getting a machine gun earlier. And he still could benefit from one. These blobs of infantry are really hurting him. He should either get a machine gun or get some bars on his infantry. Looks like we actually do have... I'm not sure if that's a bar or if that's... Yeah, I guess that is... Alright, he's finally getting some bars on his infantry, so that's good to see. Hopefully he'll be able to do a little more damage that way. Although now that his enemy is vetted, it's still quite difficult. He really needs to reconsider this. The Fallschirmjäger, this is not worth doing some engine. He could have lost that full squad for absolutely no reason.
Ready. Go ahead.
He's just going to repair that. Harassment on the bottom and the top by the Oberkommando. Good harassment there. Smoke going out. He's going to charge this MG. Which packs up. Strange. Stands no chance against these bar squads, although it does manage to escape somehow. He manages to catch this truck setting up too. I wonder if he sees that. Yes, he does. He can't quite shoot at it because of these bushes, though. I'm feeling he might get a little greedy trying to destroy it when really he's too late. He won't be able to. Oh, and that's going to be a devastating grenade. Oh. Almost loses those. Oh, and the captain drops a bazooka. That is bad. Bad news. Bulldozer destroys these bushes to give better visibility. Hope maybe he's going to move an AT gun up. No, the AT gun is just sitting in his base. Oh, and the 2 Raketenwerfers are right there, ready to respond. Maybe he should. Possibly thinking destroying those bushes wasn't the greatest idea. He pops some smoke, buy himself some time to get out of there. I'm not sure he's going to make it, though. Oh, really lucky 3rd shell. That definitely is going to block the line of sight on them. And he pops another smoke grenade from the rifleman to continue to give cover to his Sherman. Really good escape by this. Oh, he needs to keep going, though. Don't stop. He needs to keep going. He needs to move these riflemen forward to scare off those Raketenwerfers. No! Oh, they don't see it. Oh, he must be in the fog of war. Oh, just barely. Looks like that's going to be a successful escape. Really well played by the American player there, getting that bulldozer Sherman out of there. Although you might argue that charging in the first place was a mistake. He really wanted to destroy this battle group headquarters before it went up. But it was not successful. Really great harassment by the Oberkommando player still. He continues moving on both flanks of the map, and yet he's still winning the fights in the middle. Which just goes to say that his unit preservation has been really good. Although both sides have a comparable size army. Oh no! Oh, that's just tragic. The Fallschirmjäger that he had harassing the bottom of the map catch the Sherman as it's trying to escape and destroy it with a Panzerfaust. That is devastating. That is a huge setback. Although, if DrDfens would spend his resources, he may find that he has more units available to respond to these threats and do his own map harassment and have better control of the battlefield. If you find yourself using a really small elite army in one place, just moving in one blob, and you look down and you have 1,000 manpower, then you sort of realize that you're spending too much of your time microing your army and not enough worrying about your larger strategy. He really needs to spend his resources, is what it comes down to. More riflemen is an option, but I would really recommend at least one machine gun. Probably more. At least a couple machine guns, and trying to recrew as many team weapons as you can steal is also, of course, rather beneficial. less reliance on grenades, too, would be good. Just getting destroyed by these quintuple vetted squads. Vet 5 Fallschirmjäger, just devastating. Tearing his riflemen to pieces. Both sides going with incredibly infantry-heavy strategies this game. Even 30 minutes in and we have yet to see any heavy tanks from either side. Unless you count the Bulldozer Sherman as a heavy tank, it's really a medium tank. But I guess it's the heaviest that the US has to offer. Even Armor Company you'd think would have a heavier tank than Sherman, but no, that's as heavy as it gets. But you would expect a Panther. You would expect some sort of heavy tank from DrDfens. He is Fallschirmjäger, so he doesn't have access to the Jagdtiger or anything like that. If he built a Schwerer Panzer headquarters, which he has, then he may be thinking about... He's actually got 240 fuel, so he may be thinking about a Sturmtiger, possibly a King Tiger. Although, at this point, things are looking very grim for the US. This harassment has extended all the way around the map, taking every single point except for these two, leaving DrDfens with no map control and very little army. Just 4 triple vet squads. And he still has 930 manpower. He's not even microwing a fight right now. I think what it comes down to is he just doesn't know what to buy. But when you don't know what to buy, just buy something. Even if you're not sure if it'll work, you really need to spend your resources. If you don't, then you end up in this situation where you just feel outnumbered and outgunned at every turn. He's just running out of time. 37 victory points left. He's gonna need a miracle to win at this point.
We fall into 25 points. Panther, ready for action.
Panther coming onto the field, but it looks like it's not gonna get to see much combat. Another Bulldozer Sherman too, but time has run out. And that's the game. So, extraordinarily infantry heavy. I think both players could have benefited from teching up much sooner. We saw a flak half-track far too late in the game. We never saw any light vehicles from the United States. He just went straight into doctrinal tanks. And focused solely on his infantry, which I think was a mistake because the enemy went with Fallschirmjäger, which is an extremely anti-infantry commander. Very good at countering rifleman blobs with Fallschirmjäger and MG34s. So I think mostly it was just the strategy was flawed in this situation. When you see your enemy goes with Fallschirmjäger, you probably want to go for quick vehicles as quickly as you realize that happens. Meanwhile, on the Oberkommando side, I think he did a good job of shutting down his enemy's infantry. He just kept on getting machine guns, and Fallschirmjäger kept vetting up. And who can blame him? When your enemy's just going with riflemen, this is definitely a solid idea. Once he saw his enemy getting some tanks, he got these 2 Raketenwerfers, and frankly, I don't think that is normally going to be sufficient. Normally, a really good player will be able to flank your Raketenwerfers or just outright kill them with his Shermans. That Stuart even could have done a lot more damage if it had been used a little more effectively. Never saw any Panzerschrecks on his Volksgrenadiers, so really the only AT he ever had was Panzerfausts coming out of his Fallschirmjäger and these 2 Raketenwerfers, so really good use of these Raketenwerfers for sure. But you definitely want to have at least 1 Panzerschreck to prevent flanking of your Raketenwerfers. And of course, a Panther is always a good investment. But the faster you can get that, the better, and 32 minutes is a little bit late to be getting a Panther. Who knows how many tanks your opponent's going to be having by then. You really want to tech up quicker. Both players seem to tech up a little reactively. Neither of them teched up very proactively. Very infantry heavy. And relying too much on infantry can really hurt you in the long run. And I think that really the reason that the Oberkommando player won is because of better map control, first of all, and better unit progression, better unit scaling. His units can get up to Vet 5, and of course, good use and positioning of his machine guns. Just eventually, it means that his riflemen can't stand up to his elite Fallschirmjäger infantry anymore. You saw him getting pinned in the base and just bleeding manpower everywhere. You see these rifleman corpses all over the place. So, if there's a lesson to be learned from this game, I would say it is to A, spend your resources. You shouldn't be floating 1,000. If you don't know what to buy, just buy anything. Machine guns and weapon teams are always a really good option, especially if you feel that you're behind, because weapon teams can make a huge difference. And lesson number 2 is tech up as fast as you can. Don't get stuck in an infantry rut. Great game though, very fun to watch, and hope you enjoyed it.